Toby Talks, where we foster a thriving community by leveraging on knowledge, relationships, and collaborations. And of course, you guys know this is your up for tax advice and business strategies. But today, we have an amazing lady in the house, and I'm going to have her introduce herself to you, but you want to listen so well to today's edition of Toby Talks. So let's have our guest introduce herself. So please introduce yourself to our community.
All right, thank you, Miss Toby with Doba Talks. I just want to say thank you to her for giving me that opportunity to be with you all today. My name is Schnoldine with Jrickss Financial Services, and she invited me. The reason why I'm here is just to have a talk with you guys to tell you a little bit about my story.
All right, okay. So if you're new to this channel, please do well to subscribe to that channel. Click on that notification bell, because again, we are going to be bringing to you different professionals in the industry talking about tax strategies, talking about smart financial strategies. So today, again, we have Miss Schnoldine Joseph in the house, and she's an enrolled agent, and we want to talk about our story. In this day and age, people are confused. They don't know where to start. A lot of people are immigrating into the United States of America. True. And I just feel like as an immigrant, we are both immigrants, right, and we are doing good for ourselves, thank God. So I wanted to share your story and also link your story to our academy. So I'm so honored to have you right here with us. So tell us, when did you come into this country, and what did the journey look like for you?
All right, great question. I came in 2010. I was 15 years old when I came in. My first job right when I was junior, senior. So I was working for a bakery. That was my very first job. Okay. Then right after, a few months after, I got a job in the tax place. I took a course.
Okay. Okay. So I want to make sure that we're not missing any detail here.
Okay.
So you came in and then you started working right off in a bakery at that age, yeah?
Correct. I came at 15, so about 3 years later, I started working for a bakery.
Okay, about 3 years later, you started working for a bakery. And then you found out about this tax course, right? That's a school that's going to train you on taxes. And you decided to enroll for that course?
Here's what happened. I was talking to one of my aunts one day, and she was saying one of her friends got into trouble with IRS. So the friend doesn't speak English. So they did the tax. So what a lot of preparers do, let's say you were supposed to get 5,000, they make you make 8,000, and then they take 1,000 or 1,500. But when the problem arises, when you get the letter, it's you that's in trouble. And a lot of those preparers don't even sign those returns. Unfortunately, they put self-prepared. So which makes the government knows that you prepare your own tax return. So she was telling me that story. I'm like, wow, I realized there's a problem and I can be part of the solution. I'm like, really? So I didn't know anything, of course. I didn't know anything about taxes. I was, again, 3 years in the country. I didn't even speak English clearly at that time. So I'm like, what can I do? And I was confused too about what path I wanted to choose. I know I loved math. I'm like, maybe I wanted to be a math professor. That's what I know. I didn't know all those different careers. So I'm like, maybe I wanted to be a math professor. But when she talked to me about that, I'm like, maybe we can do something. I can do something. I can be part of a solution. So I'm like, how is this legal? The person don't even speak English. She was like, yeah, under the tax return, the 1040, even when you sign, you know that statement that's under it, that you know what's on.
Okay, so let me piggyback off of that for a little bit. So for our viewers, what happens is whenever you have your taxes filed, there's a portion below the 1040 that says who prepared it. If you paid someone to do the taxes for you, that person should be signing below that page saying that they were the one that prepared this return. But many a times what we see as professionals is people bring the copy of the tax return and then there's no signature of anyone showing right there. It just shows that you prepared it by yourself. And I know majority of you don't know anything about taxes, except for those of you who use TurboTax and all. But some majority of people actually go to preparers, pay those preparers. So I want you to be paying attention to the below, we call it below the belt of the form. Make sure that preparer that you paid is actually signing on that. So that was what motivated Ms. Schnoldine to want to go into the industry, because this lady got her taxes filed, IRS came back, apparently a fraudulent return has been filed, and IRS will always find you when that happens, whether sooner or later. And this lady had a problem, who never spoke English, and on the return, it showed that she prepared it herself. So now you started thinking about how do you become the solution provider? Okay, and then
definitely well said. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, so how can I be part of the solution? So, and my aunt was telling me about taxes, and he knows a company that I usually offer a tax class every year. So I'm like, give me the number, and I give the number. I call. They say, yep, there's a tax class going on that'll be going on in the next month. So I signed up. I took the course. Then I was one of the best students. Yeah.
Okay. So Ms. Schnoldine took the tax school course, and then she was one of the best graduating student in the class, and you got this opportunity.
Yeah, so they offered me a job. They said, we'd love for you to work at the place. I'm like, sure, that's my dream. And that was, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be working at an office. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking pretty, working at an office. So I accepted the job and I started working there, and I worked there for almost 10 years, 10 years, yeah.
Wow. So did you guys hear that story? She had no idea of what taxes was about. And then she bumped into this course, which is the exact same kind of course that we offer at Doba Academy, where we train people to become professional tax preparers and professional bookkeepers. This, if you can see my desk, I have all the textbooks right here. You literally you got textbooks like this here when you had your school. We have the textbooks. Did you have to manually prepare the return? Yeah. So were you confused while you were taking the class? So let's be real.
Very confused. Again, they were talking about W-2. I'm like, wait, what is that? Remember, that was the first year I started working. W-3, W-7, W-4. I'm like, how many W's there is? Oh, wow.
So many W's to count.
Schedule A, Schedule B, Schedule A for people who itemize, Schedule B with interest, Schedule C, people sole proprietorship, Schedule D, capital gain, Schedule E, rentals, Schedule F. I'm like, how many schedules? So many. I'm like, will I ever get it? But listen, once you love it, you put yourself into it, it's gonna be fine. Trust me, if I can do it. And I was the only one, the youngest one. I was afraid to ask questions. And I'm like, no, you know what? I need to get it. So I learned it. I was the best student. I worked there, and I worked long hours doing taxes. And you guys know accountants don't have a life doing taxes, but it didn't feel like work for me. I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did not have any background in taxes?
No.
Do you feel like people need to have an interest in maths to take the class? Because personally, I don't think that you need to really be interested in maths to take the class. But what's your view?
Not really. No, you don't have to. But you need to know tax. I think everybody should know taxes, because that's somebody. If you live in the United States, you have to know, and that's one of every year you have to file taxes if you work, and that's where majority of your money goes to. I think everybody should have a basic knowledge. I'm not saying everybody should be a professional accountant, but people should have basic knowledge in taxes.
I agree with you with the basic, because many people do not know what all these professionals put in their tax return. And there are so many professionals out there. I don't know if I should call them professionals. Many preparers out there, and they just file this thing. They don't even really know it, but they just do it and you don't know better because you don't even know the kind of questions to ask. So I agree with you. People should strive to, get some basic knowledge. I will be speaking with some entrepreneurs in the next couple of months and training them in taxes, not because they want to become tax preparers, but because they need to know this for themselves and for their business. And then you can pick your paperwork and ask questions and ask, intelligent questions to that preparer. So back to you. You had no idea of taxes. This woman, you just had the urge to help. For me, one thing I say is, for those who want to make this a career, who want to grow a career like this, I say all you need to do is that willingness to help others. Because that was the beginning of your story. You wanted to help.
Correct.
The helpless ones. And that was what propelled you.
Bad. You know, the person doesn't know anything. Give a prepare. Not only you take 1,000, 2,000 out of their refund. Now they're in trouble. They are paying all that money with interest and penalty. I feel bad.
Oh yeah,
it's sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taking advantage of the foreigners and people who don't speak English.
Yeah, even those who speak English,
right,
don't even understand what's going on. So I think it's worse off for those who don't speak English. So now, after the class, you were privileged to be the best in class, despite the fact that you had no background. So with this course, you were able to learn up, you were able to read, and then you understand, even though you did not fully understood the entire W's, the entire schedules, right? But with practice, right, came the proficiency, correct? Because I tell my student, I'm like, it's okay for you to feel confused sometimes when you're reading. Just make sure it makes sense to you. Attend the classes, read the textbooks, write the exams, try for the best in the exam, and by the time you start practicing, it's gonna click together. So you started working, and then you worked for 10 years. Did you feel like with that particular firm, right? You worked for 10 years with that particular firm. Did you feel fulfilled as you were doing that?
I loved what I do, but I know there's more that I could have done. But I love what I do, believe it or not. And like I said, it did not feel work for me. Certain times I finish working 2, 3 in the morning doing taxes, and again, I don't get battered, and it doesn't bother me. But I know there's something else. That's not it. I can do better. I can be better.
Okay, now let's pick it up from there. When you took this tax course, all you had was your high school graduate course, right?
Correct. Yes.
You were just a high school graduate. You didn't go to college yet.
No.
Then you took this tax course, and then you became a tax preparer, and you were working for this firm, and you grew so well, right? Because that's where I met you. She is right there. She knows what she's talking about. And then you grew in the job. So at what point, because I know you are also an enrolled agent, so at what point did you become an enrolled agent?
I think after about 3 years of working for the firm, I was doing all the work basically, but I couldn't call, or I was limited as far as representing clients. So I'm like, again, there's something I can do. So I'm like, what can I do? So I became an enrolled agent.
So who is an enrolled agent for our viewers who don't have...
Enrolled agent for IRS, you are considered just like, it's less studies than an attorney and a CPA, but for the government, they put them in the same bracket. They focus on taxes. They can help you with tax. Whereas an accountant, some accountants focus on taxes, but it's more like the health of the business, or you making smart financial decision. But for an enrolled agent, it's more like about taxes. That's what they specialize in. Okay,
so there's a difference between an enrolled agent and a CPA. Enrolled agent, they take the courses which is prepared by the IRS. They're like representing the IRS, but they also represent you, the client, with addressing the IRS. While the CPA is a certified public accountant, higher level of enrolled agents, right? But they also prepare taxes. They can address more financial pictures and all of that for you. So back to you now. After you took the course, high school grad, took this course, started working with this firm. 3 years into working, you have already gained the experiences. You understand all the W's, understand all the schedules, understand all the Schedule A, Schedule B, Schedule C, Schedule E, and then you took the lead because she wanted more. You wanted more, right? You had more drive. You're like, I'm limited. I can't even call the IRS for these people when they come back with me to submit to say they have a letter from the IRS. Then you took the leap and did the enrolled agent exam. And was it very difficult having practiced?
Not too difficult. I took it's 3 parts to the exam. I took the first part without even studying. I'm like, oh, that's a piece of cake. The second part,
What was the first part? What was the first
I took the individual one. For
individual tax was the first class.
You can take it in any order you want.
Okay.
The second one, it was the law part.
Okay.
That's the second part I took. I'm like, piece of cake for those two things. So I took them one shot. The third one I didn't study, but that one kicked my behind. So
remember, she said she did not study. So viewers' advice: make sure you study for any exam. For me, whatever exam I gotta do, I always study. So she felt very comfortable with practice, right?
Exactly.
Because you've been practicing, you were really on it, and that really makes it easier for you to breeze through that. Right. And then you wrote the final one.
So the final one, I did not pass it the first time, but I'm like, no exam can really, I really have to get it. So I studied, and then I think 2 weeks after I took it, I studied and I took it.
Did you guys hear that? She did not give up. So it's very important for us not to throw in the towel.
Exactly.
Right? Remember, she took the first 2 exams without studying, right? That worked for her. But again, she was humbled by failing that one, and then she knew she had to put some study time in. And then you did the enrolled agent, and then you got your certification.
Yeah.
Remember, at this point, it was now qualifications, high school grad, and the enrolled agent. So then I do remember you started going to college at one point. So tell us at what point did that come into the picture?
I started going to college. I spent a few years without going. I didn't go right after high school. I graduated. I started going to college. Okay, so I took the tax class 2013. 2017, that's when I started going to college.
So
about 4 years later.
I'm actually trying to bring up a point here. You can have a career without the college initially, right?
Yes.
Because look at you. That was exactly what happened to you.
Yeah.
You finished fresh from high school. Then you worked at a bakery. So I don't care whatever job anyone is doing right now. It's just a matter of the beginning, right? That was just a stepping stone. But then she found what she wanted to do. She went right into it, took the class just like the one we provide here at Doba Academy. She finished the class, and then she got the privilege of working because she was one of the best. Again, to say whatever you find to do it with all your heart.
Exactly.
Do it as though that is the last shot you would have in life, because that was what availed her the opportunity to be asked to come work for that company. And then she started working. 3 years into working with them, she batched the enrolled agent exam. She wrote that exam. So we already talked about just being high school grad, took the class, and then became an enrolled agent. And then from there, you got your bachelor's degree, worked with LegalZoom for 1 year. You were hungry for more, knew there was more you could do. And since you've had your own business, how many years ago have you had your business now?
About 3 years now.
About 3 years, she's then been her own boss, employing other people. So what would you tell people out there? What advice would you tell people who don't know what to do, or they are in between jobs and life has been happening? What would you say?
It's just don't give up and be consistent and get knowledge. You never know. I never knew I would have had my own tax firm today. But again, I wanted to learn more. I was hungry. I wanted more. So I took the tax course, and here I am. It led to a career for me. But it's not like, I wanted from birth, I wanted to be an accountant. Like I said, I just loved math, and I knew I wanted just to be a math teacher. That's what I knew at that time. But again, you don't have to love math. You don't have to be good at math just to be, to do taxes or to be an accountant.
All right. So again, I hope you've picked 1 or 2 things from today's session. Don't give up on yourself. Explore opportunities. If you're looking to get started in the tax industry, come to Doba Tax. We have an academy where we train you to become professional tax preparers and also professional bookkeepers. You might also get an opportunity to work and practice what you have learned, and then the sky begins to be your starting point. I'm hoping, and one thing I'm praying for is for people to have your kind of path or better, where you come and take the class, take the enrolled agent, step up your game with an enrolled agent. You can even start working for the IRS. You can work with the IRS without having to stay at the firm like she did. But again, you don't need to have a bachelor's degree to start a career like this, and I'm super proud of you. I know you're still going forward to taking that CPA exam, but look at her, she's even expecting a baby, yet she's able to she honored our invitation. We're so proud of you. And what do you, I know you do taxes as well, so call on to your audience and let them know you're available, please.
All right, so I do taxes, I do immigration, bookkeeping, a lot of other services. What else do you want me to do?
What should they find you? Where can they find you?
Our office is at 34 Prospect Street, suite number 10 in East Orange, New Jersey, 07017. Again, 34 Prospect Street, suite 10, East Orange, New Jersey, 07017.
Is there an email address they can reach you on?
Customer service at jricks.com.
Can you want to spell the Jricks?
Yeah, that's why I will do that. So customer service at Jricks. So J for J, Jesus, R, Red, I, ice cream, C for cat, K, kilo, S for Sam, S again for Sam.com. That's the name of the company. Our phone number is 844-200-8027. I do have a business cell phone, 973-392-2785.
Okay, so now you have all Miss Schnoldine's information. I hope she's been able to inspire you. But again, I want to use this opportunity to say thank you for tuning in. Please come to our school. You want to build a profession and have a path like Miss Schnoldine does. I mean, Miss Schnoldine has. You have to start from somewhere, and you have to be ready to learn. You have to be willing to do the sacrifices. Again, it doesn't have to be a path you've known before, but if you have a heart to teach someone, you have a heart to learn, you have a heart to help others, please, this may be a path for you. We are excited. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And we are actually working with the city of Newark to sponsor people to take these classes. And we're just waiting to finalize the process. Perfect. And again, the goal is to enhance you people, enhance the community, so that we all can start being self-reliant. Even if you have a job, you can always use this as a side gig. For me, it was initially a side gig for me. And then I was working and then doing taxes, and it's been a full-time gig for over 4 years now. And I'm super excited. I'm grateful for the journey. I'm ready for the future. And to help you guys, I'm ready to pull you guys on, so that we can all grow together. Thank you for tuning in. Again, thank you if you haven't subscribe to that channel. Thank you for joining us on today's edition of Toby Talks. We love you and stay safe. Goodbye.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Toby, for having me.